This Harley Davidson is actually the bike that got me riding again. Every biker has a biker story, and to cut mine short, I stopped riding for a long time, and I borrowed this bike from a friend of mine after about a 10-year sabbatical, and this is the bike that got me riding again. I've always been a sports bike fan before that, and if I'm 100% honest, did kind of sneer at the custom and cruiser market a little bit, as most young people do, I guess. When you're going through the sports phase in your biking life. I mean, it sounds like a very loud Harley. I always like a bike that's a little bit quieter, and for me, I think it was a little bit loud to live with. But then I did actually run a Sportster myself with short shots on it, very early 40s.
You thought that wasn't too loud?
No, not then, not then. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm getting too old. But then I got on it and I rode it and I really understood I pretty much immediately understood what they were all about. But anyway, the bike came to us quite a while ago. We've already done the conversion on it, to be honest with you. It's got an open intake and the ubiquitous almost Vance and Hines short shots on the back, all in suspension upgrades. And like I said, we set this bike up a little while ago. Just going to show you what we actually managed to achieve with it. Because it's a V-twin, we're going to run an AFR into each cylinder just to make sure we get each one tuned correctly. With the Harley, the weight's always fairly low. It's always a lot easier to handle than you imagine it's going to be. It's warm today, isn't it, Luigi?
Oh, you're doing all the work to it.
It's going to get even warmer soon. You might want to put these on, Luigi. It's going to get fairly loud in here, mate.
Thanks, man.
So let's see what we're making with this bike now. When we originally did the bike, on the day it made 73.9 brake horsepower at the back wheel. We're still making 73.87, so it's pretty much identical to what it was like when we actually mapped it and set it all up. As they leave the factory with the factory 1200, make 67 brake horsepower and 96 Newton meters of torque at the crank. We're now making nearly 74 brake horsepower at the wheel and 104 Newton meters. Achieved that obviously with the 1200cc conversion. It's got the Andrews N4 cams in it. It's got the open intake and the short shots. Well, this bike's actually on its way. Our friends owned it for 10 years nearly. Bought it from new, had lots and lots of fun on it. It's ready to go to a new owner. Thought we'd give it a quick run just to make sure everything was okay before you picked it up. Thought you would bring you this video in hindsight and in retrospect. It's been an incredibly emotional bike for myself. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of why I started riding and why I stopped and why I started riding again. Quite an emotional story really, but this was the bike. A bit of a joke that I actually stole this bike without my friend's permission to take it for a run as a bit of a joke. Got on it, fell in love with it really, fell in love with riding again. Like I said, I was a sports bike rider prior to this, and the thought of a Harley really did nothing for me until I got on it and rode it, and realised what they were all about and how much fun they actually were. Just the noise, the sound, the vibration, just everything about it is different. If you've never ridden a Harley before, if like myself you're a sports bike rider or a sports tourer rider, get on one, have a look, have a ride and see what they're actually all about. I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised. Probably the best riding Sportster I've ever ridden. The All-ins really are. They're an expensive conversion, but in my opinion worth every penny. Really hope that you're enjoying what we bring you to the channel. If you do, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to keep you notified of any new Harley content that we bring into the channel. And we'll see you at the next one.